From the Owens Student Media Center and heard on Outcast OCCR, Owens Community College Radio, it's Dennis Hobson and Dion Thompson. Dennis and Dion, your hosts for The Double D Show. The Double D Show. Along with co-host Eben Corin. The Double D Show. The Double D Show.
Guys, welcome to The Double D Show. This is one of the greatest sports talk shows you guys ever gonna see in here. I am Dion Thompson.
And I'm Dennis Hobson.
And today, we have, as usual, we have our resident millennial, Eben.
How you guys doing?
And we also have a special guest in the house today, an old good buddy of mine by the name, start smiling a little bit, Mike Warren. Michael Warren Sr. So for those of you who don't know Mike, his son was Mr. Ohio, the first ever Mr. Ohio football in the history of Ohio football. His son's currently playing at the University of Cincinnati. And Mike, like I said, he's been a buddy of mine. We trained a lot of kids together. And I want to talk a little bit about the recruiting piece. That's what this show is going to be about, the do's, the don'ts. Now, you all know Dennis is, probably one of the greatest basketball players in the city. But, a lot of times people forget that this man actually coached at the Division I level. And Dennis, I just want you to share your thoughts, man, about recruiting. Like what do you as a coach? What did you like? What you didn't like?
Well, until I got to that point, the college coaching, I was a player, and we both were recruitable athletes coming out of school. So you don't know how it is on the coaching side, nor do you know how it is on the parent side. Now you know how it is on the parent side because you had a son that was highly recruited coming out of high school. But I think when I got to the college side, it was one of those things to where not only are you recruiting that student athlete, you're also recruiting the parents as well. You're recruiting people that's in that kid's circle. So you're doing a whole lot because that kid comes with a lot, and you want to make sure that he's coming with the right thing, the right substance, okay? He's coming with the right parents because at the end of the day, you want this to be a great situation for everybody that's involved. So, I learned so much on the coaching side, but until I got to that point, it was more of me being recruited versus me doing the recruiting. So, you kind of, and it's two different things.
Yeah, well, you're right. It's a lot different than we recruit. Obviously,
yeah.
my son was higher recruit than me, and that's not a problem. But I learned a lot as a parent, and I think that's why we got Mike here too, because Mike, you're current in it. You actually get to talk to a lot of parents just based on, what your son's accomplishments are, and what are some of the things, Mike, that you went through as a parent when little Mike was getting recruited that you liked and didn't like?
Well, it's stressful, man. You first get into it, and a lot of coaches coming at you, kind of like selling a car. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna come in. The coaches coming at you, and they're gonna give you their best. When they invite you down, they're gonna try to roll the red carpet out for you. But my advice to any recruit that's getting recruited is make sure you got your I's dotted and your T's crossed. That comes back to being prepared to be recruited, because a lot of schools will shy away from you if you don't have everything in order. And with the recruiting process with me, it could get stressful. The phone calls, the invites, a lot of that it could really get stressful to you, man.
One of the things I could say about when Jamie was getting recruited, that you're right, they're salesmen, because initially we were committed to West Virginia, and then Ohio State came along. And what's so funny? All these coaches would tell you, oh man, this is the greatest school, and then the next year a lot of them leave.
Exactly.
So his defensive back coach stays a year and leaves. So that's one of the things I think. One of the pieces of advice I would give is you have to find a school that you will like if you got injured. You got to find that.
But let me ask you both, actually, okay? Being parents of two highly recruited kids, and you have a ton of schools coming at you. You can only pick one.
Exactly.
What's the determining factor of one over the other? I mean, is there certain things that you might look at in regards to, like, well, hey, little Mike, this school here has this going on versus this school over here. Did you guys sit down and kind of look at why you wanted to pick this school over another school?
Well,
Yeah, well, I did. Well, I looked at the depth chart. At the time, when he committed to Ohio State, they were running 3 safeties. They didn't have a lot of safeties on the roster. So I think that's important, too. My biggest piece, though, because he ended up transferring. He ended up in JUCO 4 years and ended up back in the Big Ten. Got hurt a lot. So one of the biggest pieces I would advise any parent is to go to a place where they love your kid, not just like. And I think that's where people get it mixed up. Don't look at the name, because a lot of people look at the name of the school.
Exactly.
And that's the first thing people say, oh, you went to Ohio State. That's not the reason why it was Ohio State.
Right.
It was because it was a good situation. And I think that's my advice.
Right, and I can piggyback off of that because my son was originally as a sophomore committed to Kentucky. Things didn't work out at Kentucky, which, like I said, the selling the car. I would tell any kid the fitness has to be for you. You know, it's got to be for you. So then we ended up committing to the University of Toledo. At the time, they had Kareem Hunt. It was his last year at the University of Toledo. And with the career that my son was having, the piece was going to fit well with him at the University of Toledo, is what I thought. 2 weeks into National Signing Day, Coach Fickle gets the job at Cincinnati, and everything changed that fast. So I would always tell a kid, don't put your eggs in one basket, because even a committed kid, I mean, you know, it goes both ways. Like Dion was saying, commitment goes both ways. That's what the coach and that student athlete, you know, because like the next year comes along, hey, the coach might get an opportunity that he can't refuse. So I would tell a kid, hey, make sure it's for you. Make sure the fit is for you.
Yeah, you know what's funny though about recruiting though? Every kid feels special, every parent, but you do realize they're talking to other guys. That's the funny thing about recruiting. And then you can piggyback on this. There's always a backup plan. There's always a contingency plan. And that's the part I think people get confused. And also, I want to clear something up while I'm talking. There's a difference in getting letters, okay? Because a lot of people out here, my kid's getting recruited by this
versus being
versus actually being recruited.
Yeah,
you know, you can be a prospect, you get letters, which they send out about 5,000.
Or a phone call.
Now, Dennis, you were in the business.
Exactly.
You know, but when you're actually a recruit, that means you are talking to these coaches. You're getting handwritten letters. You're getting real advice to things. That's the difference.
Yeah, and I would say this. I know in the bad, I'm talking about basketball right now, the basketball side of the recruiting piece.
Exactly.
What we're seeing now is you have a lot of people transferring. And the reason that you have like over 550 kids transferred from school, the Division I schools this year. And I think a lot of that goes because, or it happens because they don't pay attention to their decision going in.
Exactly.
Okay, and again, you need like you said, Mike, such and such, Kareem was getting ready to graduate, so little Mike wanted to go there so he could probably transition right in. Yeah, great situation. There's a lot of things that you need to look at. You need to look at the academics. I mean, are they offering the classes that you want? Do they have the major that you want? Am I going to be able to go in and play right away, or am I going to have to sit a couple years? But a lot of people don't look at that.
Exactly.
They just look at the name going across the front.
Exactly.
So I think if we start figuring out and paying more attention to what's important about picking a school, you won't see as many people trying to transfer like they do.
I'll be honest with you, I don't have an issue with that piece, and here's why. And I think the NCAA just did a great thing. I don't know if you guys saw the rules. What the NCAA now is allowing is you can play any 4 games, at least on the football side, any 4 games. It doesn't matter. It used to be if you played like the first half, the first 4 and got injured or something, you could redshirt. Now you could play any 4 and you can redshirt. And also they're doing something different with the transferring. Apparently coaches cannot block you. I can speak from experience. When I left Toledo, I was blocked. And I didn't understand this. I'm like, okay, how can a coach, have that kind of power, but the same coach that blocks me can say, okay, I played at Toledo, I coached at Toledo, I can take a job at BG the next year.
Exactly.
It's so unfair.
That's the commitment.
So the commitment has to work both ways, but I applaud the NCAA for finally doing the right thing on that.
Exactly.
So
I mean, and recruiting is just, the other thing too as a parent, and I'm sure that you weren't like this with little Mike. A lot of parents, they see a 4th grader.
He was
okay.
not like it, yes.
And the first thing they see is a scholarship, in the pros. That's the first thing they see. And it's so unfair to do a young kid that way. You know, let them have fun. Let them enjoy the game. Let them come up the right way.
We know
Can I
he's a
say
prime
something
example
about
of that. Oh, go ahead.
No, to what you're saying, you know, through my son's recruitment, I never, not one time, made the choice. I let my son ease his way into the recruitment, because a lot of times parents get involved thinking, okay, this is for me. It's
Right.
not for you.
Right.
The scholarship is for your child.
Right.
It's up to you to say, okay, I agree with it, he's happy, let's go with it.
Right.
But allow your son to get comfortable too, or your daughter, whichever
Right.
way it goes.
Well, look at Lamar Jackson. His mom, before going into this draft, before he got taken by the Ravens, his mom said his entire life she has only been campaigning for him to be a quarterback, would not let him play anywhere else. And that's all the way up from Pee Wee ball all the way up through college, because when he first got to Louisville, they were talking about putting him into different spots. And his mother was the one who was like, no, my son is a quarterback. That's where he's staying. That's where he's playing.
Yeah, well, that works both ways, you know, because he had the talent. That's the one story you heard where it actually worked out. There's a lot of other stories.
Oh, yeah, that's
where
one of a
it's kinda
kind,
worked
without
out.
a doubt, without a doubt.
You know, but I tell you what, though, you know, we're going to touch on a little bit more about this recruiting piece when we come back, especially about the don'ts.
We want to hear you guys' thoughts, so check us out on our YouTube page. You can look up the Owens Student Media Center, leave us a comment. Check us out on Facebook and Twitter at Owens OCCR.
How you define success is really up to you.
For me, it's helping to make the world run.
That's one way.
Or making a living as an artist.
And that's another.
Hiring someone out of college with the right skill set.
Graduating, and without all that college debt.
You're on a roll.
Living my dreams.
Now that's success. Your success starts here. Owens Community College.
You recycle, right?
Yep, it's confusing. It's hard for all of us to recycle properly when it's this confusing. Yet recycling is the #1 thing we can do for the environment and the economy. If we do it properly, we have a solution. And it's working.
Standardized labels, they help people recycle more, and they help people recycle right. Let's recycle across America, and let's recycle right.
To be part of the standardized label solution, visit letsrecycleright.org.
I got good sea legs from a year of trying to find my footing. And I'm missing my home even more than I should. Forget all the lessons we learned, you should have been good to me. Forget all the lessons.
When you download music illegally, you're stealing from musicians, songwriters, and people like Addie, who are denied payment for work that is rightfully theirs. Do what's right. Get it legally.
Success can be hard to define.
Making a living while making a difference.
Okay, maybe not so hard.
Hiring the very best people and giving them a place to shine.
Graduating with almost no debt.
I'm sensing a theme here.
Landing a great job right here in Northwest Ohio.
Loving what I do and doing what I love.
So actually, success is easy to define. Your success starts here. Owens Community College.
So, you know, one of the things to me that's kind of irritating, and I just want to touch on it, is you know, there are a lot of guys that train kids. Shouts out to those guys, first of all, but you know, you guys need to understand, like, there's no trainer that can make you Division I, Division II. No, nobody can do that, and I think people get false hopes. Dennis, you went back. I want to go back to this real quick. You're talking about kids are in the 4th grade. They're talking about he's the best 4th grader, and it's ridiculous. And people are taking advantage of these parents who are doing this and spending their resources, because there's actually, I've seen stuff like services that'll rank the top 3rd grader in the country. Come on, you know.
How do you do that? How do you do that when that 3rd grader hasn't played against a lot of people in the country?
Or both their parents are 5 feet even. Yeah. So we don't know what they're gonna be in the 8th, 9th.
How do you do that? How you do that? It's just very tough because this kid hasn't traveled the world and played against, a lot of the competition throughout the country. So you can't peg a kid at such a young age. It's so unfair. And again, and Mike, you know, because again, highly big time athlete. Son is big time athlete. Son is big time athlete. Again, you let a kid be a kid. You give them the opportunity. That's what it's all about. Let the kid have that opportunity. Let that kid enjoy who he is. Let him be a kid. And as time goes on, you do the necessary things to help the development, to help the growth, that type of thing. Exactly. But it's so unfair for some of the parents and what they do and what they say about their kids and put all this pressure on their kids at a young age. I think that's unfair.
And with that being said, Dion, that goes back to the rankings, the stars, and this, that, and the third. You get a guy training a kid and you tell him, oh, you got that 2-star, I can get you that 3 or that 4-star. Rankings is overrated, I do think. It's about what the work the kid put in behind the closed doors, man. Yeah. I think a lot of trainers, it goes back to selling the car, like telling the parents, I can make it. It don't happen like that. It don't happen like that.
If your kid, and it's weird because you'll have parents or their kid was all city or all league. Let's say they're all league linemen, 5'8", 290 pounds.
Right.
You're not gonna play at the Division I level at that, and that's what parents will use. They'll say, because what a lot of people don't know, sometimes that's political too, the way guys get picked on these teams. That's not to say, like you said, you shouldn't try, you shouldn't trust certain people, but I would be wary of the guys that can, you said it best, Deion Sanders was saying, guys will say, I train this kid, I got him down to a 4.3. He goes to camp, he runs a 4.8.
Yeah.
Guess what you just did to the coaches?
Yeah, exactly.
They don't want to deal with you.
I agree.
Same thing with, go ahead.
I was just saying, as a coach, Dennis, what point in the process do you start really getting to know these kids and you kind of weed out the ones that you want to keep around just based on their character?
Well, you just got to fall in place with all the other schools that's recruiting kids. I think when I was at Bowling Green, the big thing was with Bowling Green being in the MAC, everybody in the MAC, they're fairly close to, all the other schools are fairly close to one another, so we're all recruiting the same kids.
Right.
So if I hear that Akron's recruiting such and such out of Canton, Bowling Green's gonna have to jump on that same kid because, it's like, well, Keith Danbrout, which was the old coach at Akron, he's recruiting, so now Dennis Hobson and Lewis Orr from Bowling Green, they're gonna have to recruit him as well.
Right.
Okay, because it's like these kids pay attention. If you don't recruit them right away, somebody else recruits them. Well, where were you? Such and such came to me first. Akron came to me first, and you waited months and months until you started approaching me. So you got to kind of fall in suit with what the other schools are doing in order to keep that interest. I mean, let that kid know that you're interested in him.
Dennis, let me ask you, and I'm putting you on the spot. Do coaches lie about things in terms of, because the only reason I'm saying that, because I have yet to hear a coach, this is the football side of it, tell a kid, you're not going to come in, you're going to sit when you come in. I've never heard a coach say that. Every kid that's recruited, they say the same thing. You can come in and compete for a starting spot. And some of it's not true.
They lie. I mean, I don't like to use that word.
I know you don't want. Lie. Yeah. Do they actually lie?
Yeah. I don't like to use that word, but they tell stories to get what they want. Now, there is still some high ethical guys out there in the business that's going to do things the right way, and they will lose a kid because they're doing things the right way, which is so unfortunate. Yeah. But they're not going to sacrifice who they are by losing their ethics in the game.
I said that because Dana Holgerson, the head coach of West Virginia, came out a few years ago and said, "Hey, coaches lie to these kids. I'm trying to be honest, but I got to recruit against these guys." And he caught a lot of flack for that. But I actually applauded it because he was up front.
Right.
And you should be up front. I mean, you're going to you might not get everything you want by being honest in this business anyway. But hey, at the end of the day, I'm going to go out. I'm going to stay a high character, high integrity guy.
You've dealt with it. I mean, you know guys that have told you things.
Exactly. Oh, I've heard it. I've heard it. you know. And it's like telling a kid, you're going to be there for the next 3 years. You're recruiting, and then he gets there, and you find out he left. Is that a lie?
Yeah.
Or you tell him, I just got a better opportunity?
So I guess my point, let's say once you get there, And now, like you just said, Dennis, it's almost like free agency. I think kids are getting smart, though, in my opinion, because what they're saying is they look at the drafts. They say, okay, not everybody's getting drafted is coming out the Big Ten, not coming out the SEC.
Oh, definitely.
You know, not coming out, well, used to be the Big East. Not everybody's coming from there. So, you know, the old adage is if you can play, they'll find you. I don't know, because now you got YouTube, you got so many vehicles to see kids. But I will say this, if you have good film, somebody can give you a chance. And that's why you're seeing guys like the Kareem Hunts. Those are great stories.
That's right.
You know, and
Yeah,
it's helping the MAC.
That's right.
You know, or you coach Rashawn Holmes.
Yeah, Rashawn Holmes at
who
Bowling
plays
Green.
for Philadelphia.
Exactly.
You know,
I
so
mean,
when you go
around a long time.
Yeah, when you can go in somebody's living room and say, look, you can say whatever you want to.
But here's a guy.
Yeah.
You know, but here again, I mean, you look at Ron Harper, Wally Zerbiak, all these guys played in the MAC. So you, again, if you're able to be efficient, depending on what the sport is, basketball, football, whatever it is, baseball, they're gonna find you. Why are so many Europeans coming over here now?
That's right.
Okay,
That's
because
right.
they're looking for talent. They're looking for people that can help them win. And I don't think that they pay a lot of attention to the schools that you go to.
I got a question that I want to ask too, that I want to bring up. A lot of people think the high school coach can get you a scholarship. That I don't believe in that. I think the high school coach rubber stamps your character and things, but a lot of people say, I'm gonna go to this high school because Mike Warren went here and he's playing in Cincinnati. Well, Mike Warren was a special type of guy. So, you know, you got to caution people against that as well. You know, now granted, I do think there are some coaches who do a better job preparing the kids for the next level than others.
Yeah, but the talent is going to get you where you need to go.
The talent.
Again, you take a talented kid and sit him here, and take a non-talented kid and sit him here, and you talk to the coach, and he knows both. You think he's going to just give you a scholarship just because? Scholarships are precious for one.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't have thousands of scholarships to give scholarships. You know what I mean? You don't have that many. Football has a certain amount. Basketball has a certain amount. Hey, if I only got 10 to give, and I see a kid that he's not worthy of a scholarship, I'm not going to just, listen to the coach and say, his coach saying, well, you should give him a scholarship. No, it don't work that way. You got to be able to produce and be able to play.
Dion, I kind of want to touch on something that you brought up a couple minutes ago, just with social media. How often do you see players communicating? Because, I mean, you can talk state to state in the matter of a couple seconds, tweeting each other. You can bring all kinds of things up.
And I'm going to bring Mike in on that. I know, you know, with my son's recruiting, they had a group. They would talk all the time, and, you know, they get really close, and they meet at all these different camps and things, and that's why kind of when they go on, you know, they already know each other.
Well, and like look at the freshman class coming into Duke. It's 3 of the top 5 players in the nation just committed to Duke, and I think a lot of that had to do with just the fact that they could communicate and get to know each other a little bit better.
And they've seen each other on the circuit too. I'm sure in the AAU circuit. But you're right.
Just the exposure.
Building
so
talk
much
about
bigger.
that, Mike.
Yeah,
I mean, you know how guys talk.
Yeah, I mean, definitely that social media. It's got its bads
Yeah,
and its
it's
goods,
bad,
but
yeah.
you know, I want to go back to what you were talking about with the scholarships, man. You know, as a coach, man, if a kid is out there pushing, you ought to let them know, you know, you just don't have to produce on the football field. Yeah. I had a friend that go to the NFL and played 13 years in the NFL. When he went to college, he didn't have an athletic scholarship. He busted his butt all through high school to get his GPA up to a 4.0, ended up going to Arkansas on an academic scholarship, preferred walk-on, and ended up in the NFL. So it's several ways you can go about this scholarship thing. So
well, and I think too, now I think you see this more so now. More guys are graduating too. You have to take advantage. You have to use the scholarship.
Oh, definitely.
Because the coaches are going to tell you, hey, you're a body. You know what I mean? I'm
That's
recruiting as soon as I get you here. All the nice talks, you know,
That's right.
all that's going. So you have to take advantage of those things. And I will say, I think being a college athlete is very special. A lot of people like to knock it, but to be able to go to class, to be able to still maintain a certain GPA and practice, that's a phenomenal thing.
Yeah, and it's not easy.
No.
It's not easy, and I think we all know. I mean, hey, you got to put it all in perspective. Okay, I'm here to go to school, so we got to make sure our schoolwork is done, and I'm here to perform on the football field, basketball field, baseball, whatever it is. I'm here to perform. But again, and then you got study table. So you got to keep a certain grade point average. So It's not easy. It's tough being a young student athlete on a collegiate level.
Especially when you're not getting paid.
Exactly. It's tough.
Well, Dennis is a guy, you know, like I said, Dennis, you played on every level, you know, to play in the NBA. You're a guy I looked up to, man. And
I don't know about that.
That's the truth. We can be honest, man. I
Yeah,
mean,
definitely.
you know, played in the NBA, played in college, still Ohio State's leading scorer. So I think people need to listen to it. Then you got Mike over here. Mike and I met a few years ago, and man, it's been on ever since. So I want to thank you, man, for coming and sharing your knowledge with these people. Dennis.
Yeah, great time, man, and we're going to have you back.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we want to hear everyone's thoughts, so check us out on YouTube at Owens Student Media Center or message us on Facebook or on Twitter at Owens OCCR.
An Outcome Owens Student Media Center production.